Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for Health Informatics. This is another one of your community chats. My name is Sandra Arevalo, and I'm the Health and Wellness Director at Montefiore Nyan Hospital. Today, we have three experts with us. They are Vanelli Santiago, Michael Lavella, and Ryan Peña. And we're happy to have them because they are going to be telling us everything about health informatics, how we can reach our doctors, make appointments, look at our diagnosis, medications. I don't know how many things we can do from the comfort of our home or your phone or wherever you are. They're the experts. Thank God they're here because I am not a techie person. So let's start with Vanellis, and maybe you want to tell us who you are, what do you do, and how did you get into informatics and all this world that for some of us, it's kind of in the cloud.
Thank you, Sandra. My name is Vanelli Santiago. Thank you so much for the introduction, Sandra. Today I have two of my colleagues, Michael Lavella, Ryan Peña, that will assist me in this, journey of showing or trying to at least show you to the best of our abilities how to navigate the MyChart account or MyChart web, also available in mobile. As you said, Sandra, this allows the patients to reach out to their doctors at the comfort of their own home or wherever they are, and make it a lot easier. I've been on this team for about 3 years now. I do have a healthcare background for the last almost 17 years. So I have transitioned a little bit from healthcare and the billing side of things. And the last 3 years I've been here on MyChart. Very happy to be here and to help out our patients, make everything easier for them, their health, which is very important. And I like to make that, painless as possible for them. So here we are. I'm going to give a minute to Michael and Ryan so they can introduce themselves. And Sandra, whenever you are ready, you let us know and we can begin.
Go ahead. Michael, we'd love to hear from you.
Hi, I'm happy to be here. Like Habib mentioned, my name is Mike, and been on the team for 1.5 years. And I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about some of the functionality and ability of MyChart.
Ryan.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ryan Peña. I have been on the Montefiore MyChart team for going on 1 year in March. I also, like Vanellis, have a background in healthcare, and I'm happy to be here to talk about MyChart and give you guys some information.
And it's interesting to me how, we always think IT computers, we think of engineers and other type of professions, and then we find health professionals who actually go into computers. We have nurses, we have doctors, we have billers, we have it's amazing how computers are very attractive to a lot of people, not me. Computers are my enemies most of the time, and I have to go to you guys to help me. Okay, so tell us, you can start your presentation anytime. You can just click on share screen, and it should work.
Start on slide 3, so just take the introduction.
Very good.
Thank you, Sandra. Can you see my screen?
Yes, everything is fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Sandra. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start. We did the introductions already. This will be an overview of MyChart, our digital transformation team. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Michael. Michael's going to start on our presentation, and we're each going to, take a little bit. We do have some time after the presentation, Sandra, for a live demo. I will log in to the MyChart account and I can show a lot of the features and functions. So we will definitely have time for that as well. I'm going to go ahead and transfer it over to Michael. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Faith. What is MyChart? So MyChart is a patient secure portal that gives them access to their medical records and self-functioning features to enhance their experience. So what I mean by that is It starts with the ability to find a doctor, to scheduling an appointment, to checking in before the appointment, to the actual visit where they can see the appointment notes, and then post-visit for any follow-up that they have to do, such as test or to see test results and things of that nature. So it takes the patient through the entire journey from before they find a doctor to finding a doctor to getting that appointment, having the visit, and then anything they need to do post-visit could all be seen and done in MyChart. Some other benefits of MyChart for patients are the ability to track their health. It's remote access healthcare. So as I'll tell you in a second, you could do this mobile or on a website. They have the ability to not only manage their health record, but they could also manage a family member's record by being a proxy for them. So maybe it's someone that's taking care of an older relative, or if you have a young child, you could see their appointments. You could look at your lab results. MyChart also has the ability to integrate with wearable devices, such as like a Fitbit. So if your provider wants to make sure that you're walking a certain amount of steps per day, there's the ability to do that, and it would send it back to and share that with the provider. Could also message your provider. So if you have a question about something, the office might be closed, but what you could do is you could go into MyChart, send the provider a message, and then they'll get back to you. And that's really nice and convenient. Request prescription refills and manage your appointments, and also pay bills online as well. To get MyChart, you could use a web browser, or you could get it from the App Store, either Google Play Store or the App Store for Apple. The key here is you want to search Montefiore MyChart, because there are other organizations that have MyChart. So you want the one specific to us at Montefiore. So when you go into the App Store, you want to make sure you're searching Montefiore MyChart. And from there, you're going to download it onto your phone or mobile device. I'm going to turn it, oh, this is my last one. Once you get MyChart open, so now you've went to the website or you've downloaded the app, you could either sign into your account, or you could sign up for a new account if you don't have an account already. And also the MyChart is in Spanish or English. And you can see the toggle there at the top. You just click the language that you prefer. I'm going to turn over to Ryan now to talk a little bit more about new patient sign up.
Thank you so much, Michael. So new patients are able to sign up for MyChart prior to their first encounter at Montefiore. This allows new patients to access their health services, proxy access, and several other features that we offer through MyChart. So, when an individual clicks the sign up button, which is shown on the slide with the arrow pointing at it, it allows for the patient to either proceed with an activation code, which is provided to the individual from an after visit summary with a provider, or they can proceed without a code and follow the prompts. So this is the next page that populates when that sign up online tab is selected. This will redirect you here and allows you to provide your personal information to set up your account. This information would include your first and last name, address, email, and best phone number. So once all the information is inputted in the system, the next page will direct you to make a username and password for your account. This will allow, you will also have the ability to provide a security question and response to the account for the purposes of recovery and protection. When all this information is completed, you will have successfully created your MyChart account and can benefit from all the wonderful features that it has to offer. So next, we're looking at the difference between our web browser and our mobile interfaces. So as you have seen in the previous slides here, on the left is our web browser. This allows you to input your MyChart username, password, and also allows you to sign up. Here you can also toggle into Spanish, and all the prompts are here on the page. Now, in comparison to the mobile device, it has a little different feature here. You can switch organizations, whether or not that you are a MyChart user for Montefiore or Weill Cornell. They allow you to toggle between those organizations. It also allows you the feature to log in with your Face ID from your smartphones. but you also have the ability to log in with that username and password like you do on the web browser. Here, once you're into your MyChart, this is going to be your homepage. They're set up a little differently just due to the nature of the devices. On the left-hand side, you have the web browser. This gives you a more full focus on your MyChart account. This has the access to your appointments scheduled, appointments missed, and your care team on the right-hand side. This is where all your main information for your MyChart is going to populate. And on the right-hand side, it allows for a little quicker access to certain, types of information and menus rather than having to scroll down and populate it like you would on the web browser. And finally, these are going to be the menu functions. They're set up relatively similar just for the nature of finding that important information in a fast manner. Here, if you scroll down, you're able to see each different tab to tabulate to, but it does come with a search feature that allows you to manually type in what you're looking for. So per se, if you're looking for messages, you can just type messages in that search engine and it will then populate that tab for you to select. They're both very similar, so you're going to get the same experience using both for the menu application. And next, we're going to pass it on to Vanellis to talk about the MyChart features and kind of go through a little testing environment with you all.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Michael. I'm going to show you a demonstration on the actual live system. I want to go through a few of the most used features, of course, time permitting. I also want to, Sandra, I'm not sure if they can ask questions. We welcome the questions if they want to write them on the chat. If there's anything in particular that they may want to see or know a little bit more about, please, by all means, definitely put them in the chat.
Excellent. So our attendees, they have the ability to use the chat and the Q&A icons to write their questions, and as they appear, I will read them to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Sandra. That's amazing. I want to go ahead and go through a few of the demonstrations for some of the things the gentleman mentioned, medication test results, things like that, that the patients would normally would love to use on a day-to-day basis frequently. We'll go through a request of a refill if that's of interest to the patients. We can go over viewing and scheduling some appointments, sending messages to providers, and viewing where they can access their payment information. One of the most popular, besides scheduling an appointment and messaging your doctor, is having someone assist you or you wanting to assist a family member in managing their care. And how do we do that? Through MyChart. There is a feature where you can gain access or share your access to family and friends. So we'll definitely go over that as well. MyChart is a very secure system. This is solely for patients. So if it wasn't mentioned before, MyChart is the patient's portal where they can communicate with their, provider's office. And in doing so, we wanted to make sure that it is a secure system. So we do have in place a two-step verification before, or I should say every time the patients would log in, they would ask them for a second verification piece so that the system can know that you are who you say you are and that the right person is logging in. We can disable this. So what you do see on the screen is the option of clicking continue when you first create your account. If you want to keep this for every login, or do you want to turn it off? And we can see that here. You can turn this step if you're okay with just logging in with your original credentials. You can by all means do that. If you want that second level of security, then you want to keep this. By clicking continue.
Sorry, Vanellis, why is that not recommended? I just saw there it's not recommended. So could you clarify why it's not recommended?
We don't recommend for you to turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't recommend that. So for the matter of keeping your account safe. And so that you can feel like the system is letting you log in and providing you the information safely. It's very hard for someone else with your information to log in.
Mhm. So if we don't have this second step,
Mhm.
what is gonna happen is that hackers, as we know them, they are gonna come and get our health information and it can be available for other people to see.
So no, the information is not available to anyone. However, there may be someone with your actual login information. It could be a family member or a friend, and you don't want anyone that has or knows your name or your email address to be able to log in as well. But as far as hackers, no, our website and our system, they're protected from hackers.
Thank you.
So the second level or the second step that this will take you to is for you to provide an email address. It does not have to be the same one that you use to create or log in to your account. If you want it to be a different email address, you can use a different email address. And it's verifying your identity at that moment. So once you enter the email address, it's going to send you a security code. And only you will have access to that security code, which you will then enter here in the lower right quadrant. And that will be your second form of verification. So once, and these are features that you can do when you're signing on. It's hard for me to duplicate this in the live system. So that's why we're doing some screenshots before we demonstrate the demo. But I'm showing you here on the screen some appointment reminder notifications. And this is how they look. So this information the patients will get via email. So if they set up an appointment, we do have the system to notify the patients of their appointments, some reminders. So a couple of days before, 5 days, the day before, and the day of, to be exact, of the appointment, the patients will receive an email reminder. The email reminder will have no details of the patient or of the patient's appointment information. It's something very generic that says, "Hi, patient. This is just a reminder that you have an upcoming appointment. Please log in to your MyChart account," basically to confirm the details. So again, that's for personal health information not to be exposed to others through your email. And on the left-hand side, that's an example of how the email will look. On the right-hand side is roughly an example of what the appointment details or appointment reminder looks once you log in to MyChart. So as you can see the difference, the one on the left has no details. The one on the right, once you're already logged in, will provide you with all your appointment details. We do have a help desk. So Sandra, maybe for people like you, you can use this. If you have any questions, if something is not working on your MyChart account, if you see something that you shouldn't, if you lost something that you used to see, we do have a MyChart help desk. And this is the telephone number. So if you have any problems, questions, please contact our help desk. They are open 24/7. So whether it's, after work hours, on the weekend, in the middle of the night, if you can't sleep, they will be there to help assist with any issues.
And we have a question from one of our attendees, and I think Ryan already answered, but maybe you want to voice it too. Is MyChart a choice, or is this something that is being requested or required by the clinic?
So it is not forced or required, but it is highly required to log in or to create an account. I don't want to say that it's an obligation because it's not going to stop you from going to see your doctor, but it is the best form of communication with your doctor, with the office, regarding any activities that happen, that day. So yes, when you do go and visit your doctors, they will suggest for you to create an account, as it is a very important form of keeping up with your health.
Yeah, and Vanellis, you just said something that stuck with me. It's the best form of communication. Why?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
You can communicate with your providers at any time. It doesn't have to be, within work hours. It can be on the weekends. It can be after the office is closed. If you have a question, you can still ask, and you have this option of using MyChart and messaging your doctors or any of your doctors that you have an established relationship with, and they will be able to answer you back at the earliest of their convenience without you having to wait on hold, make a phone call, stay there, for a few minutes until someone answers, or even going physically to the doctor's office.
And we have another question is, how soon are results available?
Test results, I'm assuming they're talking about test
Yeah,
results.
I think so.
Test results are available as soon as most of them, as soon as the office visit is over. You will get them sent to your MyChart account by 10 o'clock in the morning the very next day. There are some that take a little bit longer, but for the most part, lab results, things like that, they'll be available the next day by 10 a.m.
In my experience with lab results, and I have to tell you, that's the number one reason why I like MyChart, because I get the results before the doctor even calls me. I feel that is as soon as the lab puts the result in the system, I get notified of the results as well. So that gives me time to think what I want to ask. That way, when I receive the call from the doctor, I'm already like, and what is this? And why is this high? That's my number one reason to love MyChart, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
the results are pretty quick. I feel like, but there are some labs that take longer than others. Some might be done in hours, some might be done in days, but they get to me faster than they get to the doctor, because you have to think a little, right? The doctors are seeing a multitude of patients. It's not like they are waiting for the results sitting at their computer all day. So they're going to have to take time to check the labs and give you a call, or the secretary, whomever is calling. And it gives you like a nice time frame, like a window for you to check your own results. And that way, that's how I take advantage. Then I have all my questions ready for when I get that call.
Absolutely. Are there any more questions on the chat?
And the turnaround time for doctors' answers, I guess, because you said, we can email the doctor. And what's the turnaround time?
So I do want to make clear that MyChart messaging is not it's not an instant chat. It's basically like you're sending a message, and the doctor or the secretary will get to the message when they're reviewing their inbox. So obviously they can only review their inbox when they're in office. So that question varies. If the doctors don't work over the weekend, or if that office is closed over the weekend, then obviously those questions or messages aren't going to be reviewed until the following work or business day that they're in the office. So it can take between 2 or 3 days for a response back. However, we do have our goal of a 1-day turnaround, and that's been pretty successful.
Yeah.
Also, we do highly recommend that MyChart is not used for any emergency questions. MyChart is specifically, and for those who may have MyChart already, or those who will after this call want to log in, they will see that there are kind of messages all around the actual MyChart website that it says MyChart is not to be used for emergency purposes, being because it's not an instant chat, is not something that every doctor is going to get to that very same second. So if there are any emergency questions or the patients feel like there's something wrong right now health-wise, then it's definitely recommended that they just call 911.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because, both as a patient and as a provider, sometimes I know doctors receive messages like, I'm bleeding to death. What do I do? Oh my God, by the time that the doctor gets the time to answer that message, you'll probably be dead. So
Right.
don't use MyChart for emergencies. Emergencies, go to the emergency room.
Correct.
Actually, we have a lot of questions, and Ryan, you're ahead of me. So go ahead, please. Why don't you unmute yourself and you help me answer some of these that you're putting so beautifully in the chat. Another question.
Absolutely. So it seems that there was a question across the board of whether or not MyChart is available at all our Montefiore locations, or we have to switch from each site to site. So the Montefiore MyChart portal is the same portal across the whole organization. It will be accessed, you'll be able to access it regardless of the site you go to. So let's say if you have a site in Westchester or in the Bronx that you're going to, and then you're being seen in Brooklyn, it's all in one immersive and, living, breathing portal for all these locations. And as I did say earlier, that you do have the ability also on the login page to switch organizations, and you also have the availability to merge accounts. So let's say if you are a patient at NYU and they also use MyChart, you can then merge your Montefiore account and MyChart account using Care Everywhere, which allows you to keep all that important medical information all in one location and allow your providers at, different organizations who might not have the same communication as if it was in-house or one organization. They can see those test results and those doctor's notes as well to give you, an overarching healthcare, portal that gives you the care and the ability to keep all that information in one place.
Thank you, Ryan.
And with that being said, if you have a doctor who's not, who doesn't use Epic and who doesn't provide the MyChart ability for patients, if you do have a MyChart account for those doctors who do provide the ability to have MyChart, you can share your records with those non-MyChart doctors by sending them the approval or the permission from MyChart directly. You can share it with anyone for that matter. So do we have any more chat questions before I can log into our test environment and we can explore the system? We're okay? All right. Let me just make sure that, okay. Okay, so right now you are, well, that was quick. Normally it takes a few seconds to load. So that was the login page. Let me do that again. So this is what the login page. I'm still showing the PowerPoint. Why? Can I just X out of the PowerPoint?
Yeah. So it's showing.
Okay, what am I showing now? Okay, now let's share again. Okay. Thank you.
We're good.
Perfect, thank you. So this is the login page. After you create your account, you can enter your username, enter your password, and then we're going to go ahead and click sign in. At any moment within the MyChart system, you can change languages if you want. I just logged in, but if you see this symbol up here or when you see it, you can open it and you can toggle back and forth between English and Spanish. It will remember what you chose for the next time that you log in. But this is where it is in case you did it by mistake, but we do have the option of English and Spanish. Okay, so this is what we call the home screen after you log in. I'm just going to walk through the different sections and what you're going to see in these sections for yourself. So we are in a test environment, so it looks a little bit busier than what yours will. However, we're going to start on the top left. You have your main menu. Here you can navigate by clicking on your menu. You can navigate, search it, type any special words where it can help you find what you're looking for faster. Or you can just view it by, scrolling down on this list, find what you need and click on it. And that way will take you straight there. Next to the Your Menu button, we have 4 options of your most frequently used features. You get to alter this. You get to choose which ones you want to remain on this main screen for easier access. Right now, we have what typically everyone uses, which are your visits, where you can schedule your appointments, messages, where you can send messages to your providers, test results, and medications. Typically, that's what the patients like to keep up there for faster use. But you can change those 4 to any of these options here from the menu. In the main page, like in the main body of this page under welcome, obviously is going to have your name on it because you're the registered person to the MyChart account. Our test patient, Fernando, has all of these notifications. And that just helps Fernando know what's coming up or what he needs to do. So if he has a scheduled appointment, he's going to have a notification here that's reminding him, hey, you have an appointment scheduled, and you can view that message. You can also go and see your scheduled appointments if you go to visits. So this is just a more kind of easier way, reminders for patients to kind of know what's happening with their health. Here they have a phone visit scheduled. So again, once it's time for that phone visit, they can come here, start the phone visit, check out the details, so on and so forth. If the patient has a bill to pay, the system will remind them, hey, you have a bill to pay. It'll be here also in their notifications. You can dismiss these notifications once you view them. They'll disappear from your notification list. But moving on to the right side of your home screen, you will see the doctors that are part of your care team. Okay, for this patient, Fernando, he has these 4 doctors that are part of his care team. Okay, he can schedule an appointment with them through here. He can message them through here if the options are available for those specific departments.
Vanellis,
Yeah.
how do you change the favorites up top? It's one of the questions.
These 4 favorites, you would go to your menu. You would go to, I believe it's change your shortcuts. Okay, so I'm going to leave it on here for a second. I know this is being recorded, so we can remember, we can capture. If you want to change the options on the top of your home screen to see other options or other features more readily available to you, you will go to the menu, you will go down to where it says change your shortcuts, and then it's going to give you the 4 options. It's going to show you which 4 options are already chosen. If you want to change any of them, so if you say, you know what, medications, that's not really important for me, I don't really use that often, I want to change medications, I want to choose something else. So you click on this arrow and it's going to bring you to the regular menu that we have on the home screen so that you can choose the shortcut that you want to replace medications with. So if you want to change it to, let's say,
My conditions.
my conditions, you click on my conditions and you see how it changed from medications to my conditions. You want to save those changes. Okay. It confirms all changes have been saved. We can go back to the home page. And as you can see on the top, now instead of medications, you have my conditions.
And if I want to make my conditions look, showing at the top. is that
If you want my conditions on
at
visits,
the
let's
top?
say,
Yeah.
like if you want my conditions to be the first one listed, like visits,
Mhm.
you would do the same thing, but you just have to change them
Change
accordingly.
the visits. Okay.
Correct. So if you go back to change shortcuts, you would then change the visits to my condition. And then you would change my condition to visits. Or however, whichever order you want them in. You save your changes.
Okay, so it's no way that you can just move the boxes.
No.
That's what we
No.
see on the marker.
Yeah, no, you can't like drag.
Yeah,
or
right.
can you? No, you
And
can't. drag.
one other question, what is the 26 next to Fernando? Is it today's date? Is that the age?
The number 26 are the number of notifications
Mhm.
that Fernando has. So if I scroll down, I can scroll for a little bit because Fernando has a lot of notifications. Fernando also is responsible for managing the healthcare of 2 children, 3 children, 4 children, a couple of children. Fernando has a lot of kids. So what happens, and perfect segue, what happens when you are the proxy of your minor children, you will also see their notifications on your page because you are managing their information. So you can see all of the notifications as well underneath which is the main person on the account. So I can keep scrolling here and you'll see all of the notifications that pertain to all of the people that Fernando is the proxy to. Okay, speaking of that, if I only wanted to see one of my children's notifications or one child at a time, if you see right here where you see your name, you can switch. So I want to switch from the main account, which is me and everybody else. I just want to see child A. So I click on this and then it changes to that patient's information. See, now it no longer says Fernando, now it just says child A and what belongs to that child and their notifications up on the top. And you can do that for all of the patients.
Could my children see my information as well, or only the proxy can see the information for the children?
So it depends on the age of your children. So if you have minor children, no. Minor children, one, they cannot have their own MyChart account until the age of 14. Okay. And even if they do have their own MyChart account, for the ages of 14 to 17, the access that they have is very limited. So you cannot see a lot of things, like you can't see appointment details, you can't see test results, you can't see a lot of personal information for that age group. But if your children were over the age of 18, you can definitely give them access and permission for them to see your medical information.
And if I'm an adolescent, any age between 14 to 20, let's say, and I don't want my parent to see my medical records, my visits, my tests? How does that work out?
So at the age of 14, so let's start by saying that at the age of 18, you gain access to your own account, and automatically anyone that had access to your account as a proxy will automatically be taken off because the patient is now 18. So that is done automatically. The system does it. It does not, it goes by the age of the patient, which obviously is logged into the medical record. The patient doesn't need to do anything. Automatically, the parents will no longer have access to your information once you turn 18. Now, between the ages of 14 and 17, let's say, if your parent had proxy access, they will continue to have proxy access unless they personally remove themselves. But if they don't want to, they will have access to the information of that 14 to 17-year-old. But it is very limited, the information that they can see. They cannot see test results.
Okay.
Yeah, they cannot see test results. They cannot see any appointment details that this patient may have. So it is very, very limited. And it was done that way for a reason and for the privacy and protection of that adolescent. So speaking of which, I would like to show you how you can do that once you're logged in. So if you are a parent and you want access to your child, your newborn child, or your kid, 2 years old, 3 years old, and they're new Montefiore patients, you can go to the menu and you're going to scroll down to where it says share my record. There are a few options here under share my record. You have the option to share with people. You have the option to connect with hospitals and doctors. And you have the option of providing this information. Well, I don't even know what that option is, to be honest with you. Review which devices or apps can see your information. Okay, so you have the option here to determine not only a person who can have access, but any devices. So you may have linked your Apple Watch or your Fitbit to your account. So here is where you can either disconnect that or allow the access for another device. So we're going to share with people, which is normally what everyone likes to do. We're going to download or send the record. Nope, this is not it. Where is, I'm sorry, this is our test environment. So it's not giving me.
Oh, because she has the child.
Oh, because I am the
That's
child.
right.
Thank you. Children cannot share their record. Thank you, Michael. We're going to go back to Fernando. There we go. So we went back to Fernando and now we have more options. So Fernando wants to get, Fernando just had another baby. So now Fernando wants to add that other baby to the list of children he already has. He wants to see the new baby's information. So Fernando is going to go to share with people and we're going to click on friends and family access. So now this gives you the option to request access to the record for a minor or a patient with diminished capacity. So that's where we're going to click to fill out the form to request access to Fernando's new child. But before we do that, I do want to point out that this is where you would also go to invite someone. So if you want to invite your spouse or a friend, you can send them an invite to your records and they will now be able to see your records. This is something that's solely up to you. You can share this with anyone, and you can also revoke it at any time if you wish. Going back to the minor, you would click on this link. And it should populate the form that needs to be filled out. As soon as it loads, you will see it's going to ask you for the child's name, the child's date of birth, what is your relationship to the child, etc. And once you fill that information out and you submit it, there will be a team that is in charge of reviewing these requests and making sure that the person requesting this is who they say they are. So if they said they're your mom, the child's father, the child's mother, they will definitely confirm that information before approving the access. And that typically takes 5 to 7 days. Most of the time is a lot sooner than that, but that's the time frame that we give for a response back for this type of access. I'm not sure what's happening here. Let's try it again. It doesn't want to work for me. No, I don't think it wants to work. I'm sorry. Very strange. But by clicking on this link is basically the form. Like I said, that's going to ask you questions on who are you and who do you want to request records for. And then you would hit submit and that's it. Nothing else for you to do. They will reach back out to you with the approval or a denial if they feel that you are not the right person, to have access to this child, either because you don't come up as this child's parent or emergency contact or legal guardian. Those are the three major details that are looked for in approving these types of requests. You have to be the child parent, legal guardian, emergency contact. Multiple people can have access to one child's account. So if you do have two parents, both parents can request and be proxy to the same child.
Analyst, I have a question. So how does the system or whomever is doing this knows that I am the right parent? Meaning, especially, for example, among the Latino population, you can have 1 million Maria Rodriguez, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has happened that it coincides that that there are two different women and they also have the same date of birth. Mm-hmm. So how does the system know which Maria Rodriguez is the true mother or spouse or something that is requesting the access?
So in order for you to make this request, you have to have a MyChart account. When you created the MyChart account, the system already verified who you were. So when I send the request that I want to request my child, Raymond, I want to request his records, the team that's in charge of reviewing that, they're getting the message directly from my MyChart account. So it's already telling them who I am. It's telling them my name, my date of birth, my address, my everything. When now they compare that to the child that I'm requesting, the same information has to come up on the child's record, confirming Raymond's mother is Vanelli Santiago with this date of birth and this address and so on and so forth. So there is no mix-up in linking the accounts, because once they verify the child, they're in the child's medical record. And from the child's medical record, my name should appear there. They should click my name and that's it. They're not going to search me in another system or another, I guess, login. It's all directly connected to the child that I'm requesting. So everything has to match up. Same thing with the father's information. All of that information has to already appear in the child's chart. If it's not, you will not get approved.
Perfect.
So
Thank
then
you.
the mother, it's happened where the real mother, wants access to the child, but the father is the one that normally takes the child to the doctor, fills out all of the information. So now the mother does not appear as, someone in the child's life. So in that case, what the parent has to do is go to the child's doctor and show proof that she's the parent and she wants to be listed as the parent, the mother, the legal guardian, so on and so forth. And then you can submit the request again.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying.
You're very, very welcome. We do have 5 minutes left. Is there anything of interest that you want me to go over? I do want to just click on messages just so that you can see what it looks like. So here is the list of messages that this test patient, Fernando, has between himself and his doctors. So they do, the conversations do save in here for a significant amount of time. I believe everything after 18 months start to archive. But it is here for a significant amount of time if the patient needs to go back to read something that may have happened last year. So they can, they can maneuver this or alter this however they wish, if they want to see the conversations, if they want to see anything that they've possibly bookmarked as, important. This test patient doesn't have any. Here they can look at the list of appointments and appointment reminders and messages that came in for appointment information. These are some automated messages that the patient may have received. So this is just like the message home. But the most important is, how do you send a message to your doctor? Well, here you see this button that says send a message. You click on it and you're gonna get this little box here as options. So it says, where do you want to send this message to? So you get to choose. This should be the list of doctors, but because this is a test account, it showed some generic information, but at that point, you would choose which doctor and what would you like to do. So it gives you options. Do you want to send a refill medication message? Do you want to send a schedule an appointment request, which is through a message? Do you want to message your doctor's office, or do you want to ask a billing question? So depending on the options that you get, let's say we want to message my doctor. Now it's going to ask you what kind of message you want to send your doctor. Do you want to send them a general office question message, a non-urgent medical question? So even though it's a medical question, it's a non-urgent one. You can do a prescription question, a results question, a visit follow-up question, referral request question. There are options. So if we want to do just a general office question, we select that and it should bring you to where you can actually write your message.
Annalise, can you reschedule or cancel an appointment from MyChart, or you will have to send a message to the doctor or whoever asking to reschedule or cancel?
Depending on the office that the patient is going to, and depending on the site, if they allow cancellations and reschedules or scheduling from the beginning, yes, the patient can do that directly from MyChart. There are some departments and some sites that do not want the patient to reschedule on their own. they prefer to do that. So those options will not appear on the account. The same thing with cancellations. For the most part, patients can cancel any of their appointments. So that can happen. So if you have an appointment and you say to yourself, oh my God, I'm not going to make it, you can definitely go into MyChart and cancel it. Some will allow you to reschedule depending on the site, some will not, but you can always send an appointment request. So an appointment request just allows you to send a message to that office to say, I need an appointment. And then someone will reach out to you and arrange that.
And we have one more question, and we have only 1 minute left, but if I request the specific results from the doctor that are not in my chart, can they be sent to my chart as well versus being emailed or mailed?
So I'm going to say, well, all results should appear on MyChart, but not all. So if, for the most part, all of the results will come to MyChart. There are some imaging results that we do not allow to come up or be sent via MyChart. So in that case, no. If we've already determined that there's a specific results, test result that is not MyChart available, even if you contact the doctor, they will not be able to send it to MyChart. They can send it maybe as a message if they, if they copy and paste it into a message, that's an option. But if it's a test result that's not in the system because we made the decision to not allow it, then no, the doctor can't enter it, no.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I think that we need another hour with you and your team because as you see, this is overwhelming. No wonder I don't understand only a little bit of it. But maybe we can have you back and you can show us more features where the labs
Absolutely.
which is my favorite, right? And so more to come on MyChart and all the technology that we have available. Thank you so much for being with us today at Community Chats. Next week, let me see, Driving for Resiliency. This is a program that is providing mental health care services around in Rockland. It's like healthcare on wheels, I will say. Well, we'll talk more about it next week. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Vanellis, and all your team for being with us today.
Thank you, Sandra.
Bye-bye.
Bye.